If you personally could go back to yourself at 20 years old, what's one thing that you would have told yourself?
Stop drinking so much.
It would be the alcohol.
Yeah, probably be the alcohol. Like I've come full circle on alcohol. And I did some other things I'm not particularly proud of in the nightclub days, but alcohol, it's not the alcohol. It's what the alcohol becomes. So alcohol becomes something called acetaldehyde when it's converted in the liver. And this drops the pH of your blood, makes you more acidic. The hangover that you have is from the acidity. It's from the, which is why breath work can walk you right out of a hangover. Hydrogen gas can walk you right out of a hangover. If you use a hydrogen tablet, you can walk your way right out of a hangover. It's that inflammation, that vasoconstriction. In fact, interestingly, most people that suffer from headaches, especially chronic migraines, there's a really interesting study in the Wiley Journal of Headaches where they actually looked at migraine headache sufferers and found an inverse relationship between sodium and migraine headaches. So in other words, as sodium went up, migraine headaches went down. As sodium went down, migraine headaches went up. And what was the reason for this? Because most people think that the headache is coming from their brain. That's not true. There are no pain receptors in the brain. The brain is actually not capable of generating a pain signal. So nothing that you're feeling when your head hurts is your brain. There's a covering over the brain called the dura. And this, imagine saran wrap stretched over the top of your brain, right? And the dura is fraught with pain receptors. And it hates two things. It hates being stretched and it hates being contracted. What determines whether or not it's stretching or contracting? The sodium gradient. It's called osmosis. So very often you can put, and don't take my word for it, please go to the Wiley Journal of Headaches and read this study. 3,919 participants, I think, in this study. It's a very, very well structured meta-analysis. And just try, especially if you're a migraine sufferer, just try adding Baja Gold sea salt to your morning routine and see if after 7 days of doing that, you have any further headache.
So how do you avoid a hangover?
Avoid drinking would be the first thing.
Let's just say you're drinking.
Okay.
Though. Let's just say you want to have a few drinks, but you don't want to feel like crap the next day. Because I've seen so many things like the charcoal supplements.
Yeah, but that's
pills you take.
That's trying to bind it. I would say dose up on the B vitamins, the complex of B vitamins, and a very specific form of B12 called methylcobalamin. Hydrate while you're drinking, and in the morning, same exact thing. If you want to get rid of a hangover, the worst hangover of your life, in 10 minutes, this is how you do it. You take 10 ounces of water, put in hydrogen, an elemental magnesium tablet that will effervesce into hydrogen gas, add a mineral salt. You can use Celtic salt. You can use Baja Gold sea salt. I would prefer that, not a partial supplement that just has potassium, magnesium, and sodium. Use a real mineral salt. Whack that back, and then go outside preferably and just do a short round of breath work. Try doing 5 obnoxiously deep breaths, followed by a very long pause on the exhale. And I'll explain why. And when I mean obnoxious, I mean obnoxiously deep breaths. Get a lot of oxygen into your lungs. On your 5th exhale and hold your breath as long as you can. The reason for that is that carbon dioxide is the main vasodilator in the human body. We think it's nitric oxide. It's not. It's carbon dioxide. The reason why you get vascular during exercise is because of the CO2 going back to the heart or going back to the lung. And so if we hold our breath, what will happen is the CO2 will build up. You will get a vasodilation. And then when you breathe in again, that oxygen will smack the tissues. Do 3 rounds of that. 3 rounds of 5 obnoxious breaths, a hydrogen tablet. I use one called H2 tabs to put hydrogen gas in your water and and mix it with mineral salt. Your hangover will be gone in 10 minutes. I don't care how hard it is.
Now, what about if you get a really bad night of sleep? Because sometimes we'll be traveling. We'll get to the East Coast and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning there, and we got to be up at 8 for a podcast. We have a short time to sleep, and we wake up, and I am exhausted. And usually that's me going and chugging back coffee to try to wake myself up. Is there a better alternative to that?
Yeah, there's 3 alternatives. One, you already broke one of the cardinal rules that I wouldn't break. I wouldn't have a podcast at 8 a.m. I would prioritize sleep and exercise rather than podcast travel and meetings. But if you can't do that, which I understand some people don't have control of their schedule, they can't be intentional about sleep and exercise. They have to be intentional about their obligations. But so there's 3 things you can do. Number 1, remember that when you're sleep deprived, part of what's happened is you have some inflammation that wasn't rid from the brain the previous night, and you have to preserve the precious amount of oxygen that's in your system because it's fixed. The amount of blood in your system is fixed. The amount of oxygen that's in your blood right now is fixed. As soon as you eat, you are going to divert all of those resources from your brain straight to your gut. So on days where you have had limited sleep, eat very, very light. These are great days to intermittent fast. They're great days to focus on proteins and fats only. Stay away from high glycemic carbohydrates. Stay away from multiple meals. Eat light, and when you eat, just eat proteins and fats. So for example, if you're going to eat in the morning, have scrambled eggs and slices of avocado with some sea salt or maybe some olive oil. In the afternoon, or in the evening, have a piece of fish and vegetables, no starches, no carbohydrates. And what you'll do is you will divert less blood and less oxygen from your brain to your gut. If you actually stood in front of a thermograph, which reads the heat in your body, and you looked at where all the blood was focused in your body before you eat, you'd see that your brain is glowing like red and orange. Lots of blood, lots of oxygen up there. Then you stuff this 30-foot long tube, which your intestinal tract is, full of food, especially high carbohydrate food, and your blood will all divert to your gut and it will power you down. You will be so sleepy. You'll be exhausted. It will make you more foggy.
So that's interesting. So I've noticed I don't work as well after I eat. I just don't have the energy. So what I found is when I wake up, the only thing I could do if I want to optimize for just productivity and efficiency is I make a coffee, I put in some protein powder in there and a few other a creatine supplement, mix it up, and that's all I eat until about 1 or 2.
Perfect.
Because if I eat, I just get tired. Is that the reason why, or is it what I'm eating? And I try to eat healthy.
Yeah, it's exactly why. You've just diverted all that blood to that 30-foot long conveyor belt. And if you look at 30 feet of intestinal tract, you'll see that it's just enveloped with blood vessels. Right? So when you divert all that blood, guess what goes with it? The vital oxygen, which you perceive as energy. When you say, Gary, I had a lot of energy today, physiologically what you're saying is, I had a lot of oxygen in my blood today. So if oxygen equals energy, which it does, then if you want more energy, you need more oxygen. So how do you get that in your blood? You stop diverting it to the gut.
But before we get into that, men, real talk for a second, we are all afraid of losing our hair. And whether that's a receding hairline, thinning at the crown, or just thinning in general, the fear is there. But fortunately, there is a solution, and that would be our sponsor, Hims Hair Loss Solutions, where you could join hundreds of thousands of subscribers who got their flow back.
Hims offers a 100% online process that provides access to a range of hair loss treatments that work, all from the comfort of your couch, making treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted treatment options and clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil that can regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months.
And if swallowing pills is a challenge for you, no problem at all, because Hims also has a serum, spray, and chewable options.
The process is simple and it's 100% online. Just answer a few questions and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment will be sent directly to your door.
So guys, start your absolutely free online visit today at hims.com/ICH.
That's HIMS.com/ICH for your personalized hair loss treatment options, or you could click the link down below in the description. HIMS.com/ICH.
Results vary. Based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil, prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Thank you to Hims for sponsoring this episode, and back to the podcast.